The one thing I didn't get to ask directly is the name Sufferfest. When I hear Sufferfest, I would think of associating with that with like a Ragnar race. How did you pick that name over other options that you might have considered?
There was no options.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's part of the accident. I never really intended to start a business around this because a lot of my community are runners and cyclists and triathletes and race directors. When I started sampling my beers to friends and folks in that community, and it was tasting good, and they were sort of saying, can you make 10 times as much for my race next weekend? You know, it just became this thing that got bigger than I could contain on my own. But it was in that community where we all get out there to have a Sufferfest. So if you look, you've got coasters today. Sufferfest, an activity whereby all participants ache, agonize, ail, deteriorate, endure, and languish, and by commisery yet cohesiveness, we will have experienced the grand celebration.
I think you also just won like best mission statement of any company ever.
It represents so much. Starting this company and keeping it alive is a Sufferfest day in and day out. But it's sort of why we get out there, right? Is like we talk about how painful that run was, how painful that workout was. You do it because at the end, you're like, you get to talk about it and brag about it and compare a gash on your knee from like the epic bail you just had. But it's the fest of the suffering. A day is not complete without a really good war story.